This is the Magic Man. Let me get my rag on straight here. Yeah, let's get it going. This is the Magic Man, tennis pastor, tennis preacher, tennis psychic, and tennis prophet, coming back at you with another video. Okay, people, what I want to do, I'm still getting little. I got a comment from a Nadal fan, so I thought I left the Nadal thing alone, but he sent me that economist thing. The Nadal fans know what I'm talking about, and you know, it was talking about that Nadal had a harder level of difficulty, and that's okay. I mean, he may not even be a Nadal fan. Maybe he just wanted me to read it, but obviously this whole Nadal thing, but the only thing that's making me make this video, that the person that sent me that article about Nadal having a higher level of difficulty in majors than Federer had, I'm not addressing it now. I'm going to address that later in another video when I talk about levels of plays in different eras, because there's some type of misconception about all this level of play stuff in different eras, but that's a different subject. But what I want to talk about today, I know we have talked about Nadal catching Federer and all this other stuff, but in that comment that the guy sent me, he said this is an article that shows that Nadal is greater than Federer. So what I want to tell y'all, why he's not greater than Federer. And you know what? Let me tell you who knows this. Nadal knows it. Michael Jordan knows it. I know it. Kobe Bryant knows it. Muhammad Ali knows it. LeBron James he knows it. The reason I'm calling out those champions, it's relevant to what I'm getting ready to say now. Okay, Nadal, you remember I told y'all, I don't know if I think I mentioned in one video, Nadal, he has, now all super greats got weaknesses. I mean, Federer, he had a mental blockage with Nadal, but to give Federer credit, he overcame it. He beat Nadal in Australian Open, beat him in Indian Wells, beat him well in Miami. That was a tough Nadal in Miami. Federer overcome the blockage, and he's beaten Nadal the last 6 or 7 times. So Federer, who had a weakness playing Nadal, for whatever reason, he was tripping, or Nadal was in his head, he overcame it. So Pete Sampras, he had trouble winning on clay, so he never overcame that. So that's a little stain on his legacy. But let's get back to Nadal now. Now, Nadal fans don't want to hold Nadal accountable for this, but the tennis prophet is going to hold him accountable. Nadal has 0 ATP Tour Finals titles. 0. And all the other greats got 5 and 6. The Djokovic, Federer got 6. I think the Djokovic got 5 or something like that. Y'all can check on that. But Pete Sampras, I know Pete Sampras got 5. And remember I told y'all about the video I did on McEnroe this morning. McEnroe won like 8 of those things. Nadal has 0. Why? And Nadal, we already went through that argument that Nadal can't hold the #1 spot more than a year and a half. Now, I don't want to hear this injury. He wasn't injured for all 13 years. Okay? I don't want to hear that. And even if he was injured, but injury, that's a different thing. But we know Nadal wasn't injured every year. So what I want to do, statistics tell the story. Okay? I want to read into those statistics. There's a reason why Nadal, like I said, he hasn't been injured every year. I mean, one year the Djokovic took the #1 spot away from Nadal, and Nadal was playing at a good level, really good level. So like I said before, let's get back to reading these. Let's read these statistics. Why can't he sustain the #1 spot? Now, he got another chance. He got #1. How long can he be #1? Okay, we got to see. So let's just read into that. Why can't he sustain the #1 spot more than a year and a half? Why couldn't he do that? And let's forget the injury thing. Let's look at, what does it take to sustain the #1 spot like for 6 years the way Sampras did? You got to have a consistency. You got to have a big time focus consistency, okay? And okay, now here's the deal. One Nadal fan told me something about 2 years ago. He was a Nadal fan. He's a friend of mine. He said Nadal is fragile. It was when Nadal wasn't playing well about 3 years ago. He was thinking about retiring. Yeah, I know he may have been injured a little bit. But he said Nadal is emotionally fragile. And he said when Nadal starts losing, he loses confidence. Now, that's a Nadal fan. So that Nadal fan sort of answered the question that when Nadal, like right now, if Nadal started losing in Shanghai or whatever, is he going to fall off the cliff and then lose the #1 spot to Federer by next February or something? So that matters. So that really matters, people. So it ain't just having the 16 majors. So now another thing is, you trying to tell me if Nadal, you Nadal fans is calling Nadal the greatest of all time, he can't win just one of those end of the year championships? Just one. Just one. Not even two. I'm making it easy. Can you just get one? So how can you be the greatest of all time when Sampras got 5, the Djokovic got 5, Federer got 6, and you can't even win one? And that's an important tournament, people. Those are the 8 top players of the year where you show your stuff and you top the top 8. Nadal has never won just one. So how can you be the greatest of all time? But you know what? Nadal knows this. It's because he ain't claiming to be the greatest of all time. Okay? It's the Nadal fans that's overlooking that. Okay? And the same thing. You can't be #1 more than a year and a half over your whole career, and you wasn't injured all the time. Like I said, the Djokovic took the #1 spot from you, and I already told people what the Djokovic did to you. So what my point is this here. People take this greatest, yeah, Nadal is of course one of the top greatest of all time. I even put him at #2. But when you start talking about the greatest, and Michael Jordan know what I'm talking about. See, if Michael Jordan was playing tennis, Michael Jordan would be like, and I'm the same way. Muhammad Ali is the same way too. We gonna be like, hey man, we got to win at least 2 or 3 of these ATP finals, cause this guy got 6. So how can I claim to be the greatest of all time if I can't even win one? And how can I claim to be the greatest of all time if Federer was #1 for 5 consecutive years, Pete Sampras was #1 for 6 consecutive years, and I cannot hold a #1 spot for more than a year and a half? Okay, I'm just saying, how can you be that one greatest of all time? You can be one of the greatest. So that's what I'm saying. I think Michael Jordan would be like, man, I got to hold that spot for 6 years straight before I claim to be the greatest of all time. But getting back to it, I'm not hating on Nadal, because you know what? Nadal ain't claiming to be the greatest of all time. It's the Nadal fans that's pretty well claiming that Nadal was the greatest of all time. So people, I just want to bring that up. You know, I just want to bring that up right there to say that there is still, now Nadal has a chance here. He has the #1 spot. Let's see how long he holds it. I mean, I know he's sort of out of his peak, so I'm not expecting him to hold that over 2 years or even a year. I don't know. But I do expect Nadal to win that end of the year championship. Man, you got to win that. You got to win that. You got to get at least one of those. Okay, people. Tennis pastor, tennis prophet, tennis psychic, signing off. Have a nice day.